Well, folks, the madness of March is fully upon us. The snakes have once again been driven out of Ireland by our favorite saint, and we are well on our way to finishing this entire semester pretty strongly. Before we start, I wanted to revisit the college-wide late policy that some of you are either not aware of, not happy with, or ignoring altogether. The English departments of the 4 campuses of Delaware Technical Community College set forth a cohesive late policy which all instructors must follow. For the smaller assignments, also known as formative assessments, you have up to 48 hours to turn it in for a late penalty of 10% on your grade. Now that's 10% of the total points, not just 10% of what you earned. For the larger assignments, also known as summative assessments, you have up to 1 week to turn it in for a late penalty of 15% hit to your final grade for that assignment. And again, that's 15% of the total points, not 15% of what you earned. The reason why there's a big difference between the smaller assignments and the bigger assignments is obviously we want you to do better on the bigger assignments, so giving you enough time to do that does really work. Now, since I was very clear about this whole thing in the very first video that you should have watched for this class, I just wanted to remind you that this isn't a new policy. Sorry to bring you down so early in the video, but it needed to be said. Now that we've gotten that reviewed, let's talk about what's going on this week, shall we? As always, we definitely have the week number 9 announcement here. We have my information up top here. We have the video itself, the chapter listing, what to preview, what to read, and what to complete here. That looks weird. Let's go to the masterclass schedule by going back to this page, looking over here on the right-hand side and seeing the link. Clicking on the masterclass schedule, we end up here, and I've already scrolled down to week 10, and as you can see, there's... Holy mackerel. Did I see that right? There are no assignments due this week? That must be a mistake, right? Let me consult my schedule and my files. No assignments due. Wow. That's pretty awesome for all of us, is it not? So then let's look at what we have to review for this week. Oh, that makes sense. It's the most important part of your development paragraphs, the tie-in for CSET. No wonder there's nothing due. I want you to work on your development this week. So here's the schedule I would love for you to adhere to. I have a plan that, if you follow it, you won't be stressing out the night before the paper is due, working feverishly to try to get everything done in 2 hours. As you can see, there's nothing to be submitted this week, but there's a very important discussion board this week. So, you should be doing something instead of nothing. Now this week, I want you to work on your argument portion. That would be the minimum 3 argument points that will support your side of the argument. Each of those points will feature 1 claim, the topic sentence, and then however much evidence you will use to prove that point. So with each piece of evidence that you provide, you will also have an associated setup and tie-in, and we will speak about the tie-in in a minute or two. So that would be a minimum of 3 very well-developed paragraphs using CSET, okay? Honestly, I can see 4 or 5 paragraphs for your development, but a minimum of 3 is all the college requires, and all I expect at minimum. Then, by Sunday, March 30th, 2025, you should have your argument completed and saved in a file somewhere. So, by this date here, it should be saved somewhere. Now, in week 11, as you can see, next week, we're going to be discussing the counter-arguments and the rebuttals. That's very important. By the end of the week, even if it's just a discussion board, you are going to be writing your counter-argument and rebuttal pieces to start. That means, by the end of next week, you will have all 3 of your development points done, and your counter-argument and rebuttal, which honestly means that your development is practically finished. You just have the background section, but that's relatively easy to build. Think about that for a second. A couple of weeks prior to the paper being due, you'll have probably 85% of the paper already finished, with only the introduction, background, and conclusion to go. Those are the easiest parts of the paper, And honestly, that means your stress should be minimal. You're welcome. Now, you can see here the CSET resources will take you to this page here, which shows us basically the breakdown of CSET again, common problems, what to do, what not to do, the CSET challenge, the introduction to CSET that we've already covered. You are welcome to go through any or all of these, okay? What we're going to talk about today, however, is the tie-in strategies. So clicking on that link takes us right here. Now, this page that you've been given isn't all that long or involved, but it does bring up two very good ways to tie in your material. Summary and new insights. So as you can see here, we have summary and we have new insights. See? Honestly, if you really want to know what a tie-in is, it's this. How does the evidence you just supplied bolster your topic sentence or claim? How does it affect your overall thesis and argument? Can you explain the ways it takes your argument in new, stronger directions? Think of it this way. The material you are presenting through the direct quote or paraphrase is great, but your reader can say, "So what?" to it. The tie-in is literally an opportunity to say, "Look, I know you may not understand what I just said, so let me help you understand why it's important to me and my argument." By explaining that, the reader knows that you're taking the time to illustrate something very important. And the more you repeat something, the more your reader will process it as important and necessary. See what I mean? So, by allowing yourself the repetition through summary and the emphasis through new insights, you'll be able to fully engage your reader with the material. Does that make sense? And that's the video, folks. Just a shade over 2 full pages of script. In any case, I hope that you'll take my advice with scheduling of your paper. If you do it how I've laid out for you earlier in this video, and early in the semester, you're going to find out that you won't be stressing out nearly as much as you would be waiting until the last minute. Get on it and have a great week. Enjoy.